Hey guys, it's your girl Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. I don't know about you guys, but I have been seeing pop art nails everywhere. It's definitely a trend that is re-emerging, and it is one that is pretty easy to recreate. So I'm going to walk you through this process step by step. I'm going to give you some options as far as dip powder or gel. I'm also going to talk you through some bougie versus budget options, and I'll give you some tips and tricks along the way. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then stick around. We're getting into it. All right, for those of you that may be new here, hey, I'm Carrie. I'm a DIY dip and gel enthusiast. I am not a nail professional, but I do love all things nail related except for nail polish because I have no patience to wait for polish to dry. But in any case, if you love those things too, then I hope you will consider hitting that subscribe button and stick around for more nail content. So as far as pop art nails go, if you have not seen these yet and you have no idea what I'm talking about, you must be sleeping under a rock, but I'll put a few pictures up for you on the screen. It's kind of one of those that has me scratching my head a little bit because we've seen this before. It was probably, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago. We had a resurgence in this. And so it's not that I don't like it. It's cool. It's interesting. It's something different. But I don't know what caused the resurgence here. It doesn't really feel like a fall nail trend to me. It's more to me like a summer trend. So anybody know why this made a comeback? Like, did some celebrity wear it or something happen? I don't know. I'm just curious. But in any case, it is a very interesting trend and creates a pretty striking look. And what's great about it, it is definitely one of those trends. You can pretty much do this with any colors. I've even seen this with some neutrals and some fall colors and some tonal manis. I just think it's a, really fun and versatile option if you want to give it a try. And like I said, it is pretty darn easy. So I've laid out just a few of the products here that I'm going to be using today. There's a lot more than this because I am doing 4 different colors. So I really have 8 different colors. Plus I have some accent colors. So anyway, it's not all on the screen here, but I put a few of them on here because I wanted you to see that really you can do a 1-color mani. You don't need to do a tonal mani. You can do any color you like. So really in reality, you should really only need maybe 2 gel polishes and your black and white gel paint, or a really good non-watery gel polish would work as well. For those of you that are looking for dip powder options, just hang on a bit. We're going to get to that here in a minute as we get into the mani, but I do have some options for you if you want to try it with dip powder. All right, so I just laid out a few of the swatch sticks that I made tests with when I was trying to figure out what colors I wanted to use. So, some of the execution on some of these is better than others. I wasn't really going for perfection. I was just kind of testing out to see what kind of colors I wanted to use. And I don't know why, but I was feeling this pink and purple and kind of like an aqua color scheme. I don't know. But in any case, I'm just going to show you this one up close. Basically what we're doing is we're creating kind of a matte nail, and you can do this glossy, but I think to me it looks more striking matte. But all I really have done here is just used my regular gel polish and then use a slightly darker polish to create some shadow and then some black and white gel paint, and that is it. So it's a pretty seamless process, and for those of you that are intimidated by nail art, I definitely think this is one you can do. It's not difficult. Now I used a whole combination of different polishers when testing this out, so some of these are inexpensive options, some are pricey options. I'm going to talk you through a little bit more on specifics as to what I would recommend for you as we get into the mani, but just know that you don't have to use any particular brand. It's really just whatever gel polish that you like. Obviously, something that's a little bit more pigmented that can get you your full opacity in 2 layers would be better, but really it's completely up to you. You can honestly use any gel polish, any color for this. Even the accents with the white and black, I do have some premium priced gel paints that I use for that, but some of these are using some inexpensive gel paints as well. So I'm going to give you some details, like I said, as we get into the mani. Anyway, I think you get the idea here. We're kind of creating like cartoon-like looking nails, so that's basically what it is. It's a pop art style of nail art, so it's designed to make your nails look like pop art, which I think it looks pretty darn cool. It's not necessarily my everyday vibe, I'm not gonna lie to you there, but it definitely is a fun one to do on occasion. I initially intended on just doing 1 color, but when I saw these 4 colors together, I was like, oh, I kind of like that look, so I ended up going with 4. I figure that gives you some more options anyway, as far as what you may be looking for your mani if you want to do 1 color multiples. All right, so before we get going here, I do have on my Painted Desert Medium Coffin Natural tips. I recently changed up my tips from the Vivid Glam. Right now, those two brands are my absolute favorite tips. And if you did not see my announcement recently, I just became an affiliate for Painted Desert, which I am super excited about because I love so many of their products. You're going to see a lot of their products in this video. So I did apply them with the Cactus Jelly Plus, and like I said, these are the medium natural coffin tips. I absolutely love these. I think they're absolutely gorgeous and really quality made. So if you do want to try out anything from Painted Desert, then you can go ahead and use code CARRY10, and that will save you 10% on your purchase, and that is an affiliate code, just a heads up. All right, these are the 4 base colors that I'm going to be using. So I have one from Nail Addict LA. This is Flamingo. I have 2 from the Born Pretty Modern City Neon Gel Polish set, which if you didn't catch my original video on that collection, I love that set. And it is right now, I think $8.99 on Amazon with Prime shipping. So I'll definitely link that one for you. And then on the right, I have Madame Glam's Matty. So pretty good variety here of higher priced and lower priced options. So you can see even I'm using a mix in my mani. For my base gel and matte top today, I'm going to be using Vivid Glamco's gels. I have only tried her delicate base and top, so I really wanted to try just her standard gels. So I'll be giving those a go today, but obviously any base coat and any good matte top coat should work. Again, you can use a glossy if you like. It still looks cool. I just think the matte makes a more striking look for the pop art nails. So while I'm applying my gel base, let me just get out of the way. If you're looking at my ring finger and she looks a little roughed up, she's mad at me right now. She's throwing a little tantrum. I nicked her not once but twice while I was removing and applying my new tips, which had nothing to do with the tips or anything else. It was just one of those things. As careful as I am with my e-file and hand file, and as much as I talk to you guys about safety, I am still human, and once in a while my hand slips and I nick. And it sucks, and I have very sensitive skin, so when I do that, it just looks so angry. It actually isn't that bad. It just looks really bad. So we're just gonna ignore her. She's sitting in a corner throwing a tantrum. But for those of you, when that happens to you, what I usually do is I will put a little bit of hydrocortisone on it and some lotion. And the reason I do the hydrocortisone is just because I'm working with gels here and I don't want to get a gel allergy. So I'm just trying to prevent that since I'm going to be working in that exposed area with some gels. So I'll usually put a little hydrocortisone and some lotion on it, and then after I do my mani, wash my hands and all that, and I will put a little bit of Neosporin and some more cuticle oil on it. And honestly, just with that in a couple of days, it's perfectly fine. So if that happens to you, that's what I would suggest. Not trying to give medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I'm just telling you that that's what works for me. All right, back from that tangent, I'm starting in on my first layer of the gel polishes. So starting here with Nail Reserve LA's Flamingo. And I think you're going to see as we go along, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because it's just pretty much standard gel application. But I did want to talk you through a little bit of difference in the formulas in these because, you know, these are different prices. These are different formulas. Some of these contain HEMA, some of them don't. So you know, I would say out of the 4 that I end up using today, probably the most difficult one for me was this Nail Reserve Flamingo. It's not the brand, it's not even the formula. You have to keep in mind that even though like they keep the formula consistent, some colors are going to do better than others. And this one just kept wanting to kind of shrink on me before I could get into the lamp, so I had to keep smoothing it over and over again. And honestly, even after 2 coats, I kind of felt like it could have used a 3rd coat, but with all the nail art I was putting on top, it kind of masked the issue. So great polish, and I definitely still recommend that brand. Just struggled a little bit with this particular color. All right, next up I'm going in with my 2 Born Pretties. It'll be on the middle finger and the ring finger. And this is a really good formula. I like that this is not super runny, and I will tell you that this collection is an absolute fave from them. Though I will tell you that some colors are more pigmented than others. This purple one is pretty good, whereas the teal one takes a little bit more building up. But both of them I was able to get opacity in 2 layers. I really can't recommend Born Pretties and Model Ones. Both of their gel formulas are really great if you are looking for some inexpensive gel options. I absolutely recommend them. It has nothing to do with affiliations or sponsorships or anything like that. That's just my honest opinion. Nobody's sponsoring this video. Nobody told me to say that. It's just my honest opinion. Now, if you notice, I am flash carrying in between layers. I'm just doing that to kind of hold the color in place while I work with the next one. So if you do want to do that, I'd say just good 10 to 15 seconds. It's optional, but it does kind of help kind of hold that in place while you work on the next color. All right, so again, I told you guys I would talk you through some dip powder options along the way. You actually could do this without any gel. The only thing I see that's going to be a little bit of a challenge is getting the matte top coat. You may find that you're just going to have to use your shiny dip top coat. There are a few brands that sell matte dip top coats. I know Sparkle & Co has one that I was not that impressed with. It's a bit more satiny. And I know there's a couple other brands that have since then come out with some matte dip top coats. Honestly, I'd probably, if I was going to go the dip route, I'd probably use a shiny top coat. I just feel like most of those come off pretty satiny, and I'm like, well, what's the point then? So, but I'll leave that up to you. If you have a matte dip top coat you like, then you can use that. But the rest of this, we can actually get around using gels, and I'm going to talk you through that when we get to the nail art. But obviously, if you were going to use dip powder, you would just use your 2 layers of dip powder and for this base instead of the gel. Of all the base colors I used today, this Matty from Madam Glam was the one that I struggled with the least. And again, that's not always the case. Madam Glam has really great polishes, but definitely some colors are easier to work with than others. And I believe they do still contain HEMA. I will double check on that for you and let you know. But they are, I believe, 9 free, but I believe they do still contain HEMA. But again, I'll double check on that for you. But this polish is beautiful texture. It's such a gorgeous texture, and almost could have gotten full coverage in 1 coat. I did end up going in with the 2nd coat, but almost got there with full coverage in 1 coat. But again, let me say that depending on the color, some are a little bit more pigmented than others, so keep that in mind. All right, I'm gonna take a short break while we speed through this 2nd layer of gel polish, and I'll be right back. All right, both layers are completely done, so now we are ready to move on to the detail work. So I'm going to be laying out the kind of shadow colors I'll be using for each of these onto my little cheapy nail art palette, which I'll have linked for you down in the description box. But again, I'm using some mix of premiums and more affordable ones. So this one is NailzKatKat in Berry Breeze, and that's going to be for the purple. And then for the blue, I'm going to be using Daily Charme's Charm Gel in Indigo. Since I don't have a really dark pink gel polish, I'm going to be using Daily Charme's Cherry Lips, which is more of a red, but it'll still provide a good enough shadow for us. And for the teal shadow, I'll be using Daily Charme's Teal Appeal. So again, it's not so much these particular brands or these particular products, it's really just whatever colors are going to provide a good shadow for the colors that you have. Now, I have an option for you if you don't have a bunch of gel colors, so hang on to that thought for just a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and open up my Daily Charme's Luku. I don't know how to say that. Lusu. I'm not really sure. But this is a Japanese black nail art paint. I'm still trying to get myself to like this because I spent a pretty penny on it from Daily Charme and everybody raves about it. And I'm just like, I mean, it's okay. I don't hate it. And for this purpose, I actually think it works really well. But this one here from Savalan, I would say is probably better than that. But again, that may just be because I'm a DIYer. I may just prefer this, or maybe a reason that nail artists love that other one. I don't know. But this is a really good affordable option if you want to kind of get into gel paints, but you don't want to spend a lot, because you can get a nice set for pretty inexpensive. So I'm actually going to be starting first with the outline in black. So I'm using my iGel Beauty's dual line brush. I'm going to be using the longer side here. Now, I actually prefer my painted desert brushes for detail work, but I'm using this one because it's a little bit thicker, because I want a bit more of a thicker line on the outside of the nail, because that's what's going to give that pop to the pop art, pun intended. Whatever brand brush you're using, you want to use a long brush. Think like 12 millimeters, because you know, I think it's kind of our instinct is we feel like we don't have enough control. We reach for a shorter brush, but when you're doing line work, you'll actually have a much easier time if you use a longer brush for this, because the brush really does the work for you. All right, so you're just going to pick up some of your black gel paint, whether you're using this or the Savlon or some other brand that you already like, and you're just going to start creating an outline along the edge of the nail. So you're really going to go all the way around it. Now, watch as I do this, because I don't have the steadiest of hands, guys, but look how easy this is for me. And again, it's not because I'm super skilled or because my hands are super steady. It's because I'm letting this longer brush do the work for me. So don't make the mistake of reaching for a shorter brush. If you're looking for some inexpensive brushes, I would say, and you're just starting out, I would say try the Beetle set on Amazon, which I'll have linked for you. It's a good starter set. I would say long term, it's not my preference. You never see me use those anymore because I have brushes I enjoy more now. But if you're just kind of looking to see if you're going to get into nail art at all and you need a little brush set, I could say you could start with that. And the thing about this particular look is if your lines are a little bit thicker, it's actually going to be fine. So you don't have to have super fine nails. As you can see, my pop art nails, the finished look is a bit more like subdued, I guess is the word, whereas some people use much thicker lines and make theirs more striking. So that's totally up to you. So what I'm saying is if your lines are a little thicker, it's not going to hurt anything at all. So make these lines as thick or as thin as you like. Just really just go around the edge of the nail. That's all you're trying to do, and build it up enough that you can see it. And then again, from then on out, is preferences to how far you want the line to be. So I told you guys I was going to give you some options for those of you who did not want to use any gel at all, and so here is where my suggestions start. I would actually recommend using these acrylic paint pens. Now you can use regular acrylic paint, that's definitely an option for you. If you're really comfortable with that, then go for it. I actually have used these acrylic paints many moons ago. It's been a long time because I really got back into gels for nail art. But these acrylic paints will actually work fine over top of dip powder. You do have to make sure you give them sufficient time to dry, and you will have to clear encapsulate so that you don't risk ruining them with the activator. But yeah, they'll work really well if you don't want to use gel and you still want to try this. I would say use those acrylic paint pens. The set I recommend to you does have a black and a white in it, so you can use those to create your details. All right, and that is it. So you can see we have a nice little outline here. It's up to you whether or not you want to flash cure between nails or not. I always do, just to play it safe, but we have a nice little outline going here, so you can already kind of see it start coming together. So I'm going to go ahead and outline the rest of the nails. All right, once your outlines are done, we are going to move into the shadow work before we get into the black detail lines. So I'm using my Painted Desert, I believe this is my 9mm here. What I'm trying to do is kind of basically create a shadow. Now you're going to see some of the designs that utilize this trend are not putting the shadow here. That's completely up to you. Again, pun intended, I feel like it makes the pop nail art nails pop more. So I like to put a little shadow here. Some economical ideas for you if you don't have that many gel polishes is if you want to do this look, you could always just take the color you want to use and mix some white into that and make that your base color, and then use your darker color for your shadow outline. Most gel polishes mix pretty darn well together, so you can always create your own custom color by mixing some white into it or even other colors. So, you know, don't feel like you have to have 8 polishes to do this like I did. You really only need 1 and a white and some gel paints. That's really the most of it. But again, you know, if you want to and you have the polishes to do the shadow work, then that definitely makes things a little faster and easier. I'm sure you guys have noticed this, but I'll point it out anyway. I move my hands around a lot when I'm doing nail art, particularly things like this, because some angles it's easier to do a particular area than others. So don't be afraid to keep it moving. And I'm sure you guys have also noticed that in every video I have my finger rest, and I just rely on it so much to keep my hands steady for nail art. So if you are interested in my nail rest, I'll have it linked down below. At the time of this video is going up, I can't remember if liquid layers will be shut down by then or not, but they're going to be shut down for a while until 2023. They are a mom and pop shop, and they are now going to have 3 little ones because they're about to have twins. So they need a break before they can get back into their business. So if you want it and the shop is still open, I would say get it now while you can. Again, you can go as thick or as thin as you like with these lines. It's completely up to you. You can see some of my shadows show up more than others, like that purple one. The shadow color is much more of a contrast than say the blue one, but It all works. It already looks trippy, right? It looks so cool. All right, we're gonna add a few more details. All right, so these black and white detail lines are basically what gives it that kind of cartoonish, almost like plasticky kind of look. So I'm going to put a little black detail line towards the bottom of the nail and then another curvy one towards the top. And I'm just going to do that on each of the 3 nails. Now, let me emphasize again that gel polish is great because you can wipe it off as many times as you need to. If you don't like it, take an alcohol wipe, wipe it off, do it again. Only thing I would say is just make sure to wait until your alcohol is dry before you go back in to try again. Otherwise, it's going to make your gel polish bleed. But that, again, is the beauty of gel colors, that you can just keep redoing it as many times as you want until you're happy. All right, now on the opposite side, we're gonna add our white accents. So for this, I'm gonna be using my NailzKatKat white gel paint, which I am dying for her black to get back in stock because I love this white one so much. It's honestly become my die-hard favorite white gel paint, but I will tell you the Savlon is really good as well. So if you need an inexpensive option, that white and the black are both in the same kit for a pretty affordable price. Only thing I'll tell you about that is make sure you stir the white up, because for some reason for me the white always tends to separate more than any other color, but it works really well for this. Alternatively, you could use a white or black gel polish. Just make sure it's not super sheer and make sure it's not super runny, because that's going to make doing these lines pretty difficult. So again, not a cheap option, but my Daily Charme black and white would both be good for this because they're nice thick gels that don't run. So they're almost a gel paint consistency. So if you're going to use gel polish, choose something that's a little bit thicker than and not runny, and preferably not too sheer. So just draw your line in white and give it a little boop with the dotting tool, and that is it. Now you have your shadowy side and your light side, and everything looks nice and cool. We haven't even top coated it yet. I love it. I'm going to show you one more nail while I go off on a tangent here about nail brushes. Again, when I started with nail art, I started with the Beatles nail art set, and I do think it is a good starter set. If you're just kind of getting into nails and you can't really afford much, it's a good place to start. But I have to tell you, and this has nothing to do with my affiliation with Painted Desert, I bought these long before they even asked me to become an affiliate, and I absolutely adore these brushes. It's not just the packaging, which is beautiful, and it's not just the presentation, which feels very luxe. The quality of these brushes honestly cannot be beat, and it's not just the brush hairs or any of that or the packaging. It's because they're not super duper thick. I really have found that 9, 12 millimeter brushes, even 5 millimeter brushes, they're kind of thick, which kind of ruins the whole point of trying to do detail work. When you want to do detail work, the thinner the brush, the more fine a detail you can get. And I like really fine details. And honestly, if you held up, I probably should put something on my stories or my community tab, just showing the difference between the Beatles, because I still have them, and these Painted Desert brushes. But all I'm telling you is I have tried so many. The Beatles, the Winstonia, I've tried some from, trying to think some other brands. Maybe, there's another one I can't think of right now, another affordable brand on Amazon. And nothing has come anywhere close to these Painted Desert brushes. Now, I know they are not cheap, but they are absolutely worth the investment. I have multiples of these brushes because I cannot be without them, because they're honestly just the best for any detail work that I have found. All right, details are all done, so I'm just going to finish up here with my matte top coat really quickly, and then we'll show you the final look. Alright guys, here is the finished look, and how trippy and fun do these look. So cool, right? They really do look like cartoon nails. I love them. And like I said, I love that people are kind of doing a little twist on these, and some folks are doing like neutrals and fall colors. You know, really the world is your oyster with this one. Have fun with this look. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up this mani here with some cuticle balm to soothe that poor little angry cuticle. This is Scales of a Mermaid Let's Get Baked, which smells like cookies. Yes, we love it. And so hydrating, and hydration that sticks around. I love the cuticle balms year round, but especially for winter, they really help those dry cuticles with lasting hydration. Let me know what you guys think of this nail trend, and if you plan to try it, I would love to know. And definitely share any other tips, tricks, thoughts you may have about this trend in the comment box down below. But I love this mani. I hope you guys do too, and I hope you did enjoy this video and find it helpful. If you did, it would help me out so much if you would give me a thumbs up down below. And while you're there, if you've not subscribed already, I hope you will consider subscribing before you go. And don't forget that notification bell. We got new content coming every Tuesday and Friday at 2 p.m. Central, always dip or gel related. So as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend it with me. I appreciate it so much. You guys know I love you to pieces. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.